It's here.
It's October 30th, 2020, which means we are 1 day away from the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project finale, which also means it's Halloween tomorrow. That's a long-winded way of saying that, but today is day 30 of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, and today I'm going to be watching, or I'll be reviewing 2 episodes from the 6th season of Tales from the Crypt. This month has gone by so fast, I cannot believe how fast this month has gone by. It still feels like, oh, Kemper's back again. I just cannot believe, like I just mentioned, like this month has gone by extremely fast. So, but before I get into the episodes I will be talking about in the season 6 is episodes 1 and episode 14, I do believe. I need you to click subscribe, hit the bell to stay notified for any future videos I will be creating right here on this channel. And as well as leave a like and share this video that helped me get my videos and channel out there to a much broader audience, and as well as leave a comment down below. I want to hear what you have to say. What is your nostalgic memory of Tales from the Crypt in general, or which episode from this season is your favorite, or your least favorite? So just leave a comment down below. I just want to talk about Tales from the Crypt in general. So, and as well as go show some support to the many of us who are doing the 31 days. We're all winding down. We're picking up. We're saving the best for the last. So we got the 13th Wolfman, Mood 616, Nightmare Maven, Random Horror, Indie Film Cafe. We got who else? Who else do we got? Tony Has 9 Fingers. I Am the Ice Lord. Who else do we got? There's tons of others who are doing all of this. We have all been having a lot of fun. I've been watching everybody's. I don't get to comment on everybody's video, but I love watching everyone's videos, especially when I get home from work. It's a nice way to kind of decompress from the day at work. The night at work, I should say. So it's really fun to watch and listen to everyone's takes on horror movies and just seeing what everyone else is doing, because everyone has different takes, and like I've been doing theme weeks, and a few others have been doing nothing but independent horror. 13th Wolfman, he's been doing Italian horror a lot here lately, and which is really cool to me because Italian horror is kind of my dead spot in the horror genre. So it's really cool to hear what he has to say about the Italian horror movies. So, with that all the way, please, like I said, please go show them some support, hitting the like, subscribe, hitting the bell, all that good stuff. It would mean a lot to me, and I know it would mean a lot to them as well, to you show some support. So, today's episodes are episode 1, It Fits the Crime, and episode 14, You Murderer. Overall, both episodes were pretty good. I kind of just have to say that kind of a blanket statement saying, like, I thought both episodes was really good. I think the episodes from the previous season were better, but I will kind of go into that in a second. But one episode is very jarring in terms of the way it was presented, I should say. But anyways, I'm going to get into episode 1. It's called It Fits the Crime. It starts Catherine O'Hara. You may recognize her as the mom from Home Alone. And Peter McNichol, you may recognize him from everything. Ghostbusters 2, Dragon Slayer. That's the one I recognize him more from anything. What else? I mean, he just anything and everything. He's a very, very good actor. He's very good in this episode. He's definitely, to me, the highlight of this episode. And as well as seeing Catherine O'Hara in a different light, because I've always known her to be Kevin's mom from Home Alone, and so like it's nice to see her kind of show some more acting chops and like seeing like more complicated dialogue than just yelling Kevin, you know. And but anyways, the plot of the episode is like this, basically this ambulance chaser. She gets caught in this really strict end of this strict town, and think of it like Nothing But Trouble, that movie with Dan Aykroyd and Demi Moore and Chevy Chase and all of them. Like, think of it like that. Like, that is probably the best way to describe it. Like, very extreme punishments for the most mundane things. And so she won't keep her mouth shut. That's basically what the problem is. I'm like, because she is an attorney, so she kind of knows how to litigate and all that good stuff through the process of being arraigned and all that good stuff. And so she's fighting it, and she should have just went with the first punishment, which was like 10 lashes. That was a pretty light sentence compared to what the follow-up sentences was like a year in the stocks, you know, or being executed, you know. Just like it keeps growing from there. And then like the big twist of the episode is like she's kind of being haunted by the people that she's kind of scammed out of, or she's like kind of hurt these big companies, so it ends up hurting the smaller people. And so it was really good. I thought there were some really good makeup effects. And Peter McNichol, he plays her defense attorney, appointed defense attorney, and a public defender, I should say. And so he's constantly saying public service. Like, this is the one thing he's wanting more than anything. And then you find out what that means is that he's basically like, I'm going to die, but you're going to take my place as what my old position was. And he's finally out of this place. And so he must have been doing this for quite some time. And it's just a really good episode. It's really cheesy. It's super fast paced. It's like, but it's done really well. There's some really, like, these really crazy angles, and the way everything's presented. Like, the judge, he, like, it's really funny. Is like there's like 3 different courtrooms, and each courtroom gets progressively more stricter. Like, the first one was like 10 lashes. The second one is like, oh, you're going to be in the stockades for a whole year. And then the last judge is like, you know what, we're just going to execute you. And so it was, and then that's when he finally got the sentence lowered to like public service, and which ends up like entrapping her in a servitude for being a public defender. So it was a really good episode. I thought it was pretty funny. I liked seeing Catherine O'Hara in a different role other than, like I mentioned, Kevin's mom. So now on to episode 14. I do believe called "You Murderer." This is the one that was kind of jarring because right off the bat it was like who they were showing who was starring in this episode, and it was like Humphrey Bogart, and I'm like, huh. Really? Okay. And that's probably the biggest complaint about this episode is seeing him in this episode, because he's been dead for 40 plus years, I do believe. So, or like up to this point in this movie, or at the time of this release, 40 some years. So, seeing him in this was kind of jarring. I also had John Lithgow. He was perfect in this movie. You can't, or this episode, you cannot get any better than John Lithgow. I mean, like, I think what Tales from the Crypt, sorry, a little rant here, like, does really well is that it captures character actors. You got Tim Curry, you get John Lithgow, even John Stamos in a previous episode, and who else? Like, Kirk Douglas, he was really good in it, and Yellow, I keep harping on that one because I really enjoyed that episode quite a bit. Tom Hanks, he shows up. I mean, like, you get all these, like, Demi Moore, I mean, like, Jeffrey Tambor. I mean, man, there is a lot of people in this show. I didn't, like, really truly believe that. Like, there's even a young Daniel Craig and Billy Zane and who else? Joe Pesci is in one of these episodes. So it's like this show has some like high credibility to its acting in this. Like I mentioned in Yellow, if you had any misconceptions about Tales from the Crypt of being like just a cheesy horror anthology to kind of get some boobs and cussing and stuff like that, but it's really more than that. It's a lot of fun. So sorry, I didn't mean to go on a rant there. But anyways, basically it follows this criminal who gets his face altered to look like Humphrey Bogart, and it's told from his perspective, so it's all POV, and which is okay. I really like that. But when you see his reflection in mirrors and on glass tables and stuff like that, it's a little jarring. It takes I don't think I got really used to it at all, because it's for 1994 or something like that, right? 1994 or yes, 1994. Let me say 1994 again. But for what this movie was doing, we are still doing today, because it was taking Humphrey Bogart's face and placing it on an actor's double body, and then having someone intimidate his voice. And so, I mean, we've seen it with Peter Cushing in Rogue One. Obviously, the several de-aging with all kinds of other movies, and especially like Princess Leia, and as well as Rogue One again. So, seeing someone else's face on a different body, nowadays it's a little bit less jarring. But here it took me out of it a few times. But I still like the story. Just a criminal who gets found out that he had a past, who altered his face, and so his buddy Oscar is played by John Lithgow, and his wife. They kind of came up with this plan to kind of get him out of the way and take all his money and go do whatever. Just a simple plot like that. But it's the way it was told, like being POV, and seeing this guy who looks like Humphrey Bogart and sounds like Humphrey Bogart. And what I really liked about this episode is that they constantly refer to Casablanca and his other movies as well, and it's really done really well, I think, in terms of that. But the only problem is when it's like you see his face in reflections. It's only for a brief moment, and it's very quick, so it doesn't give you a chance to really like see the seams and stuff like that. But yeah, when the actor is talking, that's actually done really well. I do commend it for the technology for 1994. Is when the actor is talking, the lips actually do match the mouth really well. Except it's kind of like it's done better here than it was done in Forrest Gump. When Forrest is interacting with like real life celebrities or the presidents, their mouth kind of moves a little weird. But I think it's done better here. It's very quick. It doesn't give your eyes really a chance to kind of like really hone in on what you just saw. It's just like, oh, that's Humphrey Bogart's face, and let's move on. So that's really all I gotta say. Like I mentioned before, these are actually not too bad episodes. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the first episode from this season much better than the last episode from It Fits the Crime. I liked that style of how this last one is, because the last one was directed by Robert Zemeckis, who's Forrest Gump, Back to the Future, Polar Express, I think, and then you got like Beowulf and stuff like that. I know he's kind of stuck in the realm of those kind of movies here, those for a good while, but he does this really well, and there's a lot of good humor as well. And there's a lot of good humor in It Fits the Crime. Like mentioned with Peter McNichol, and just the judges being progressively more stricter. So like there's actually really good components to each of these episodes. But it's just I prefer the first episode, It Fits the Crime, over You Murderer, which is episode 14. So that's really all I gotta say. Tomorrow is Halloween, the final day of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, year 9. I have something big planned for the next episode. It's going to be, I'm breaking format a little bit. It's not be a straight up review, but I'm going to have a lot of fun kind of closing out the final day of the month with this next review. So please watch this next video. If there's any videos that you would watch the final video. That's all I gotta say. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short. Please click subscribe, hit the bell, like, comment, and share this video, and as well as go show some support to the other YouTubers who are doing the 31 days of Halloween horror, whatever, because like I said, they appreciate it, and I will always say thank you.